3, 2, 1, go. 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah! Music. Gotta kill the music. I don't want to get them trying to say, oh, we're going to limit you because you got music running. I can't stand that crap. How are we doing, peoples? Happy Standfast Saturday. What a great day it is. Great day indeed. Earlier today, I was standing in a wooden pavilion in the middle of the woods, talking to a small group of people. No microphones, no stages, no lights, just me, the trees, and a handful of young men learning how to lead. Hey, Alice. Hey, Estelle. And you know what? That was phenomenal. It was amazing. It was a beautiful day indeed. In fact, it was actually kind of cool. Tomorrow I'm going to try and play with the video, and I'm going to post some highlights and stuff like that tomorrow and cut it out because I got to talk for a good 40 minutes. It's only supposed to be 30 minutes, but then they turn around like, you know what, just keep going. Yeah, you go, keep going. Especially when I found out that I was actually staff at Owassapee, where they're going next week, I guess. And that was exciting. And good times. And you know what? The interesting thing is we talked about leadership, which was kind of phenomenal because that's today's topic. Today's topic is about leaders because leaders are the ones who know the way. They're the ones that go the way. And you know what? They're the ones that show the way. They don't say, hey, go that way and stand there and wait for you to go. No, they're the ones that are going to grab you by the hand and take you. Or maybe they're the ones that sometimes have to go behind you and push you. And you know what? The first pillar of that is know the way. Because see, leadership starts with clarity. See, you can't lead people somewhere where you've never been mentally. You know, we all have our stories. We all have our challenges. Every speaker out there has something different about them. I'm not perfect for everybody out there. But you know what? I'm perfect for somebody. And everybody has a story that can relate to somebody else. That's why some leaders are great and some leaders are bad. Some people like Trump, some people don't like Trump. Some people like Obama, some people don't like Obama. It all goes down in the idea that everybody relates to somebody differently and there are challenges out there. And everybody leads differently. Because see, the other thing is you can't guide others if you don't know where your own direction is. Hey, Beth. Hey, Peter. See, leadership begins with vision and values and intention. All right. See, those people weren't looking for perfection. They were looking for direction. They were looking for realism. They were looking for somebody who was already involved in scouting at one point. They were looking for somebody who's already overcame issues. They were looking for somebody who, well, they didn't realize that I was an Eagle Scout, that I lost my Eagle Scout because of something stupid I did in my 17s. But you know what? I overcame that. I withstood that. I withstood that pressure. And I withstood that doubt. And I withstood that storm that I went through. And I withstood that setback. And so that's one of the things I was teaching them, was that sometimes in life, in order to be a leader, you're going to have those setbacks. You're going to have those storms. You're going to have those opportunities to fail. And you're going to fail horribly. You're going to fail miserably. You're going to fail all over the place. And you know what? As long as you withstand it, you're going to stand back up and you're going to try again. Because that's what withstanding does. Withstanding takes that pressure and learns how to stand harder. Withstanding takes that doubt in yourself and realizes that, hey, you know what? If I stand here and try harder, I'm going to learn. Withstanding takes those storms around you, and you end up being like that lighthouse in a proverbial storm, being the lone pillar out there, so others can see you guide the way, because you're the leader, because you are the one. And so that's how leaders know the way. They take that first pillar, know the way, and they withstand the challenges that are thrown at them. They know they're not looking for perfection, but they know that they've never been there mentally, but they have to feel like they have been. They don't know their own direction, but they have to feel confident in that they are going in the right direction. And the only way they know they're going in the right direction is with their vision, with their values, their intention. That's why I talk about dreams being so important. Because when you have dreams, you know where you want to go. You know what you expect out of life. And people talk about manifestation all the time. And you know what? That's what happens. Manifestation is real. You just got to believe in yourself. You got to believe in your dreams. You got to try and pull out that happy little note off your bathroom mirror and say, I have a dream and I'm not lazy. Because that's part of the first pillar of a leader. Knowing where you're going. Having a value. And doing things with intention. The next moment, the next pillar is go the way. See, when you start heading down a path as a leader and you go the way, you're actually owning your commitment to doing something. Huh? Own? Yes, own. Because you know what? When you own something, you take responsibility for it. Okay? You take responsibility for your choices. You take responsibility for your habits. You take responsibility for your attitude. And so when you try and own that story, when you own your choices, when you own the direction that you're going to go, and you start walking that path, I mean, don't take this wrong way. You can't take one step that way, then take a step that way, then take a step that way, and take a step that way. It doesn't work that way because you're not going to go anywhere. You've got to try and take your vision and decide, hey, where am I going? And then you start walking towards that direction. So now not only are you withstanding the challenges that are out there, now you are taking your vision and heading towards it. You're choosing your future. You're choosing where you're going. You're choosing your habits that you're going to do to get there. And even if your habits is taking one step in front of the other, you know what? That's better than no habits at all. Because you know what? When I started my businesses, I kind of started them willy-nilly. I mean, my first one, I just started as a hobby. I can recall Tron and people calling in, and I'm sitting there working on my computer, and I'm sitting working on my computer, and when I'm working on a computer, but the computer couldn't answer the phone to let people connect to the computer. So I'd sit there and answer the phone, yo, go voice. And I'd have a conversation with whoever was calling back then. And 9 times out of 10, it was a computer calling. And so the people on the other end would pick up the phone and, hey, what's going on? Hey, what's up? And we'd go, hey, hey, I'm sure you guys have seen the commercial. If not, look at it. Look for the one commercial out there called I think it's a Bud commercial. Yeah. Yo, what you doing? Just sitting back, relaxing. Hey, who's on the phone? Hey, Dookie, pick up the phone. Hey, yo, and everybody's picking up the phone. They're all yelling and screaming on the phone at each other. I mean, if you were raised in the 80s, you know what I'm talking about. The stupidest commercial out there. But you know what? It was one of the biggest hits out there. It's always the case. The stupidest crap gets it. But you know what? That's what happened back then. And so I owned the moments of having a computer down so I could answer the phone and talk to these people that would call on my computer. And it took longer for my business to take off. I'll admit on that one. It wasn't until I actually got a dedicated phone line and actually a dedicated computer to answer the phone lines while I worked on my other computer. I mean, this is the 1980s, I mean, I'm a teenager at this time, 1980s. Not everybody had 2, 3 computers in their house. You were lucky to have one computer, if you had a computer. People are like, you got a computer? Ooh. Watch a movie called War Games. That's pretty much how it sums it up. Would you like to play a game? That type of stuff. But you know what? Back then, our choices, our habits created what we needed. And so it was at that point that I realized I needed to focus more on building the business as opposed to hanging out and socializing on the phone when people would call my computer. Realizing they wanted to call my computer, and they're actually paying me to call my computer, not talk to me. I wasn't some sort of 800 number like, oh, hey, 1-800 call Obet. No, it wasn't that. It's, call Obet's computer and talk to the computer. Go figure. Back then, my computer was more popular than I was, right? I think it's the same way still nowadays. My AI is busier doing more stuff than I do. She gets more phone calls than I do nowadays. I kid you not. You can call her, 574-600-1300. Have a conversation with her. It's actually kind of interesting. I kid you not. She, I gave her a name. Her name's Heather. But she 574-600-1300. But yeah, that's I actually might try and have Do a live. I've seen a lot of people doing lives where they just sit here and, whatever, and do whatever. And I'm toying with the idea of doing some random lives where some crazy stuff like that. We'll let people call, and I'll put I'll put the voice on so we can listen to you guys talk to Heather, my AI agent. But the question you have to ask yourself is, when you own your choices, what direction are you choosing? And not tomorrow and not next year, but today. Because I'm going to ask a question. If you do everything in the next year or so that you've already done in the last year, where will you be? Maybe I'll say that in English this time. If you keep doing everything you've done in the last year for the next year, well, where will you be? What will you have? What kind of car will you be driving? What kind of clothes will you be wearing? What kind of house will you have? What kind of computer will you have? What kind of cell phone will you have? What kind of people will you be hanging out with? See, what direction are you choosing? What direction are you owning? What, and that's what the question I have to ask you is as a leader, leadership is not a theory. It's a motion. It's a direction. It's the willingness to walk first. It's the idea that, there's a meme out there, or meme, however you want to call it. I don't know. Some people say meme, other people say meme. But there's a meme out there where it shows that the two different types of leaders. One where a guy's sitting in a chariot with a whip with 100 people in front of him, whipping people to make them go. And then there's another one with a guy, with the leader all the way in front, pulling the rope with 100 people behind him as they're all pulling the chariot. What kind of leader are you? Are you one to try and pull, or are you one to whip? So that's where I have to come back and talk about the scouts today. Because those scouts didn't care about my title. They cared about my footstep. They were all loving the idea that I was actually staff at Owassapee for several years. They cared about whether I lived what I actually talked about. Got a kick out of, and afterwards we actually talked about me trying teaching Scoutcraft and the Nature Center, and the only area I did not work in was the rifle and archery area. But that's neither here nor there. But you know what? That's the Standfast principle. Because you withstand the challenges in your life, and then you own your decisions to keep going. You withstand the challenges, the storms, the setbacks, and then you own the steps that you take, the habits that you do. Because when you hold your ground when life pushes you, even when you're tired, even when you're doubting yourself, even when you're overwhelmed, even when you are tempted to quit, and believe me, that temptation is always there. It's always there. It's always there in the back of your mind, like an evil little devil that sits on your shoulder and says, you could just quit. You don't have to try and go live for 171 days. You could take Saturday off and just spend it watching TV tonight. You were out in the public today talking, and you could just take the night off. And you know what? Some of you are out there in a season of your life where you're being tested. Not to break you, but to build you. Because see, that's what tests are about. Tests Tests in school aren't to break you and make you fail and flunk out of school. Tests in school are to try to see where you need to learn more on, where you need to study harder at. Tests in school are to try and grade you and put you into a better class so that you can try and learn more. So you're more challenged to get something better out of life. And when life throws challenges at you and tests you, well, that's because you're ready for the next level, buddy. That's because you've owned that level and it's time to move on to the next. Because sometimes I don't feel qualified. Believe it or not, I'm 50-something years old. I've had several businesses. I've made millions of dollars already in my lifetime. And I still don't feel qualified to teach people how to run a business. But you know what? I move anyways. I keep taking those steps to keep moving. I've had good times and I've been bad times. I've been rich and I've been poor. I'll guarantee you I'll choose rich any day. But you know what? It's the poor times that teach me humility. The poor times teach me where my roots are. And the poor times are the ones that try and show me where I need to focus and where I need to change and where I need to work harder on. And the poor times show me the real people that are around me. Because see, sometimes we have to try and decide who is with us or against us. So I have to ask you, what's one step that you're avoiding? And when will you take it? Because you know what? The next thing, hi Raylan, the next thing that's out there, pillar number 3, is a leader shows the way. A leader shows the way. All right? Because you know what? If knowing the way gives you clarity and going the way gives you credibility, showing the way gives you legacy. Because when you show something, you teach. See, I can know how to do something. And I can try and go the way, and people can follow me. But until I show you how to do something, that's a whole nother story. Because once I show you how to do something, now you learned how. And showing turns what I had to say into a legacy. Because you know what? Showing the way is the 3rd pillar. It's how you win in life. See, life is going to try and give you challenges. Life is going to give you whatever it deems necessary. And usually when you're on your way to winning, yes, there's that word, winning. When you're on your way to winning, life is going to test you. Life is going to challenge you and see if you're worthy of it. And when you're worthy of it, it's going to move you to the next level. It's going to bless you. It's going to give you abundance. It's going to try and give it to you. And then when it gives it to you, you know what it's going to do then? It's going to test you. Because you got to give it back. See, that's what happened. I got my campground. I got my house in the woods. I got my 80 acres of woods. I got my dream delivered to me. And then I focused on something entirely different instead of my dream. Instead of working on the campground, I worked on my house. making it nicer, focused on me, 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 me. And I didn't focus on my dream. Life gave me an opportunity to give it all back. And I focused on me. I bought a computer store or an office supply store, and I focused entirely on building this computer store so I can get high-speed internet at my house, so I could sit on my porch and stream music and watch movies and relax watching my dogs. Nothing about building my campground. Nothing about offering any of my ideas and my dreams I had for my campground. No, I focused entirely on me. And you know what happened? Life decided to do? Life took it away. And that's why I feel that when life gives you something, you have to give it back. And that's how you win. Because you know what? Someone is watching you. Someone is learning from you. Someone is modeling their life after your example. And we're not just talking about your kids, our kids, my kids, somebody's kids. We're talking about people. Whether it's other business owners.
Hey, Dad.
Yes, darling.
Can you be nice and please put $20 on my card?
What?
Yeah, Mom asked me.
Mom asked you to ask me?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I'm in the middle of my life right now. We'll have to see, sweetheart. Maybe.
Can you do it after?
I don't know. You did a good job earlier today sorting all that stuff, so maybe I just might do that because you did such a great job sorting.
Yeah, I know. I love organizing.
Yes, thank you. And so you got to give it back because people are watching. Someone out there is modeling their life after your example and how you overcame your challenges, how you overcame your storms, how you overcame your disbelief, how you overcame your bankruptcy, your failed marriage, your failed relationships, your failed business adventures, your failed school adventures. And you know what? Those scouts today, they weren't just listening. They were absorbing. They were studying. They were learning how to lead by watching how I stood, how I spoke, how I carried myself, how I talked about how you have to keep that dream going. Because everything in the woods is growing. The acorn that's planted has a dream of growing into a giant oak tree. The pine cone that's planted has a dream of growing into a giant pine tree. And that even though it's covered in dirt and buried, it's not dead. It's growing. Your dreams are like that. Even though they're buried somewhere deep inside your head because of life getting to them and knocking you down, they're growing. Let them grow. Because if you let them stay buried and you don't let them grow and you don't water them and you don't nurture them and you don't try to take care of them, they will die. And when your dreams die, you die. And that's how you win, by focusing on your dreams, returning everything that you learned. Show the way to other people. Because when you withstand, others learn resilience. When you own, others learn responsibility. And when you win, others learn possibility. Wow, that came out good. I'm going to have to memorize that. That came out really good. I like that. I'm at the listen to this again so I can try and remember that. I might include that in my my keynote in August. August 15th, I'm going to be in Atlanta, Georgia, speaking with David Power Talk. I'm actually going to be putting a link on my bio where people can try and buy tickets and go there and stuff like that. I'll probably end up putting it on my bio later tonight or tomorrow sometime. But yes, August 15th, Atlanta, Georgia. You can check out my bio where it'll have all my events and stuff like that coming up. If you're wanting me to try and come and speak at your church or youth group or corporate event, you can actually go to my bio and, request me. Right now for a limited time, I'm taking opportunities. So, but when you withstand, others learn resilience. When you own, others learn responsibility. And when you win, others learn that possibility. Wow, I love how that goes. Because you know what? David Power Talk is my mentor. He's the one that Tron basically told me outright that, you know what? You've been building businesses for so long. You've got it in you to build people. You've been protecting people's assets. You've got it now to protect people's dreams. So you have to stand fast in your values, stand fast in your purpose, stand fast in your walk. Because leadership isn't about being in front. It's about being worth following. Because you know what? Leaders know the way. Leaders go the way. And like I said before, when life is always going to give you what you focus on. And when you're winning, life is going to throw and test you to see if you're really worthy of winning. And when you win, you've got to give it back. You've got to show the way. You got to show others how to win. And that's how you live the wow. Withstand. Teach resilience. Own. Teach responsibility. Win. Teach possibility. Every single day. Because you've withstood more than you know. You've owned more than people seen. Now it's time to win in a way that nobody can ignore. Let's step up and go to the next level, making our next move the loudest one yet. Good night, everybody. Have a great one. Check out my bio. We have WOW merch now. Have a